Hello and welcome. You're on Friday Double Bill. This is the place where we do Adda on the movies, which is to say, we discuss the top releases in the theaters every weekend. We discuss those films, and the reason why I use that Bengali word Adda is because our first film could have well been a Bengali movie. My name is Mayank Shekhar. That's Fahad Samar telling you about what else is there on the show tonight.
Precisely, Mayank. We're kicking off with Piku, the Amitabh Bachchan, Deepika Padukone, Irfan Khan starrer.
Piku, directed by Shujit Sarkar, is a comedy about a dysfunctional family. Piku, incidentally, is the name of the daughter played by Deepika Padukone. The film is essentially centered on the father, who seems slightly senile, is fully a hypochondriac dealing with constipation issues. He also has a problem with flying and taking the train. And so, the father, the daughter, the house help, and the taxi driver played by Irfan head off on a 1,500-kilometer road trip between Delhi and their family hometown, Calcutta. Amitabh Bachchan plays the lead role of the 70-year-old nagging dad in the film.
Well, of course, Mayank, to begin with, we need to clarify that Irfan Khan is not just playing a taxi driver, he plays the owner of the taxi driving agency. And because no driver wants to deal with Deepika Padukone, he's forced to drive this odd family all the way to Calcutta. It's obviously a wonderful road journey. It's also the journey within this incredibly hypochondriac father, played to perfection by Mr. Bachchan. I think after a long time, he's in such fine form, just having so much fun, so self-effacing, completely eccentric. And I mean, I was appalled for the first 15-20 minutes of the film because how obsessed the film is with bodily functions in, excretion primarily. This is, as they say, a film about motion and emotions. And I think you got a happy balance of both. Phenomenal performances by, I thought, Deepika Padukone. I think her vanity was left, in a vanity van somewhere. She comes to the stage, brings to the screen an incredible maturity, a certain gravitas which you don't see, and of course Irfan, who I thought was mercurial in the film, holding his own against Mr. Bachchan, being able to give it as good as he gets, as this harried, exasperated man who has great mother issues, family issues, and is now on this road trip to hell.
No, I completely agree with you, and I'm glad that all you've mentioned so far, and of course we'll be talking about other things too, the performances. It's such a performance-oriented film, and there you have Amitabh Bachchan, who I think is in the most exciting phase of his career. If you compare him to what he used to do in the 70s, I mean, people are really writing some lovely roles for him, and I would believe it's not even after long. I really liked him in Shamitabh as well. Yes. In fact, he played a Bengali character, sort of based on Utpal Dutt, in this movie called King Lear, yes, which was directed by Rituparna Ghosh, but I felt he was doing it, going a little over the top.
Which is exactly what I'm alluding to when I said that after a while, because he's in fine form.
So he's in great form in that sense. But what's also very interesting, and you kind of touched upon it, is how he plays that off with two people who are so understated, both Deepika and Irfan. I mean, these are actors, at least in this film, who know that less is more. And here's this hypochondriac man who's just giving more and more of the same thing. And it just plays off so beautifully in terms of the storyline and the structure of the film, which of course, if we're talking about genre, as we mentioned, a dysfunctional family film. We've seen some really fine films of that nature before. I mean, Little Miss Sunshine somehow reminded me of that in terms of its whole feel and atmosphere. But the other thing, Fahad, is now there's an old man, if we're talking about the storyline, and he's traveling somewhere. He cannot go alone. There's a whole bunch of people who are taking him there, and it is for the love of nostalgia. I think the last time we saw a film like that was called Finding Fanny with Nasir in it. So I think somewhere road trip and a senile old man is turning into a genre of its own.
It is indeed, and of course on this incredible journey is the man's commode. I mean, his Shahi Takht, as they call it, and it's strung up on this Toyota Innova that's going along for this ride, and it's just so much fun. I mean, the whole incongruity of this. They stop in Varanasi. You have such a wonderfully, road movies are not done very well in this country, and I think this, Shujit Sarkar, the director, has to be commended, because without just being obsessive about panorama and scenery and all that, the interior landscapes, you're shooting so much of the film tight close-ups inside a moving vehicle. It's done proficiently, it's done with efficiency, it's done with a lot of heart.
Well, so far as oh my god moments from this movie are concerned, I think you briefly mentioned also, Fahad, is of course they're trying to push the limits on toilet humor.
Yes.
And I'm told that a lot of Bengali families actually are obsessed with conversations on bowel movements.
Yes.
And therefore, in some form or the other, it's actually a true reflection of a family, whether dysfunctional or not, that belongs to Bengal. And I think I'm also told it comes a lot from, the British toilet humor, which is also, another obsession that the Brits have with the same genre. And God knows, lots of Bengalis are Anglophiles. So maybe there's a connection there, but I just thought they were going a little overboard with the same thing being said and again. And of course, it's built very well into the screenplay. But, it was kind of irking me too, beyond a point. Second point, that I thought, which was slightly not going too well in terms of characterization. I mean, 70 years old is how old Amitabh Bachchan plays in this film. Yes. And I think he just seems much older than that in terms of the character itself. I think 70, you're pretty young in this day and age. You don't need to be that supremely old man. He should have been a little older. Of course, he looks rather young in real life.
He does indeed, and actually he's in such fine form, and bless him, may he just continue for decades together to delight us. I mean, for me, I think the real joy of this film, there was not just one heroine in Deepika Padukone, but the real heroine of the film to me is the writer Juhi Chaturvedi, who has not just done the story, the dialogue and the screenplay, which often in Bollywood is done by individuals, they differentiate all of that, and here it's just this one girl, and she's, I think, a bundle of talent, just done such a great job.
The same one who wrote Vicky Dona, by the way.
Precisely, and again Shujit Sarkar. So obviously she's very, very obsessed with bodily secretions from one end or the other end, whether it's sperm banks or good shit.
Potty.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So but this is it. I mean, if you can take things like this, humanize it, have great fun with it, and at a point where it is not offensive but actually indulgent, and these are the quirks and foibles. So I thought a great job, and I think this marks a really great arrival of a top-notch Bollywood screenwriter.
Well, this film is about Big B playing the big bong, and he's at his best. Of course, there's some great performances outside of Big B. There's some great writing, as we mentioned, and there's Shujit Sarkar. I think he's truly the most eclectic filmmaker we have and the least pretentious of them all, because he's made 4 films. All of them are equally watchable. This is as good as it gets. Well, I think you should watch it this weekend, if possible. Otherwise, definitely watch it in theaters anyway.
So it's clearly a Dekho as far as Mayank Shekhar is concerned. No surprises for guessing. Emphatic Dekho, isi hafte dekho, theatre mein dekho or bar bar dekho. This is such a delightful film, and really salute all the performances, the screenwriter, the director. This is great filmmaking come together, and this is the sort of film that we hope we see lots more of in this year.
Well, that was Friday Double Bill for you. Tell us what you think of the show. Tell us what you think of the movies. Even if you're KRK, we're interested to know.